Hey friends, sorry for the delay of videos, but I've been training keyboard and mouse trying to get good and grinding college, so you'll forgive me for the slight delay. In today's video, we'll be focusing on the Eystein-D pulse rifle and that entire archetype of pulse rifles. On paper, I can't see why any person would ever want to use a high-impact pulse rifle, a 320 RPM pulse rifle. To quickly compare it to other weapons that you would use at a range, it has the slowest time to kill out of all the pulse rifles, and it ties its time to kill with Mida Multi-Tool. For this video, I'm not going to try to convince you that Mida Multi-Tool is better or worse than the Eystein-D. For the longest time, I wondered what was the point of this archetype of pulse rifles when they seem to be outclassed by pretty much everything else. Before you give me that no shit Sherlock in the comments, I'm going to tell you that the Eystein-D, its benefit is team shotting. Now, consider the situation that everybody gets to on this map. 4 multi-tools. 4 multi-tools, if someone peeks, you shoot them in the head, they're not dead, because 4 shots of a multi-tool is not a kill. But substitute one of those multi-tools for an Eystein-D, and suddenly, the damage output equals over 200, which is a kill on the majority of players. Oh, hold on, watch this snipe. I'm actually going to put volume on for it.
One shot.
Got the jump. That is such bullshit. That should never be allowed in like 5 different countries.
I can't believe you landed that.
So to recap, 4 multi-tools is not a kill if someone peeks. 3 multi-tools in an Eystein-D or a high-impact pulse rifle is a kill. While this is already a good reason to consider using a high-impact pulse, it's not the only reason. The Eystein-D in particular has a great perk set. Just like the multi-tool, it has a thermal scope, so that means it highlights enemies through smoke and debris. It has a perk called High Impact Reserves, which is the exact same as Destiny 1's Glass Half Full, which means that when you get to the bottom half of the magazine, bullets do slightly more damage, which means you may need 1 less bullet to kill, which means a faster time to kill. But what really sets it apart from multi-tool and other pulse rifles is the perk Ricochet Rounds. Now, Drewski did some research on this and other people corrected him in the Reddit, and what Ricochet Rounds actually do is they increase the zoom of your weapon so it extends the range just slightly. But that's not the reason that I like Ricochet Rounds. That's just icing on the cake. Ricochet Rounds bounce off walls, and if you notice by this map, Eternity, it has a lot of walls, hence why I like using the Fighting Lion on this map. And what is the Fighting Lion? What is the Risk Runner? That's an exotic sub. They're exotic weapons, which means if you have an exotic on, you can't use another, which means I can't use Mida Multi-Tool. So you can sort of see the picture I'm painting here. If you want to use a different exotic weapon, you need a strong kinetic primary. While you could use any other kinetic scout, I really think that this pulse adds a little bit of X factor to your team. High impact reserves, ricochet rounds, that really means that you can hit people around walls when they're trying to recover. 10 recovery doesn't mean shit if you can hit them around the corner with ricochet rounds or a Fighting Lion. But since this gun already has ricochet rounds, I don't need Fighting Lion. And Fighting Lion's also better paired with Nightshade, because Nightshade has kill clip, and if you weaken them with Fighting Lion, you could kill them with the Nightshade, pick up a kill clip. You've already seen that combo. With Eystein-D, however, I prefer using Risk Runner. Risk Runner is an exotic energy submachine gun that whenever you take arc damage, this could be any fashion of arc damage, even your own arc damage, it gives it a bottomless mag, and then it chains lightning to other players around the enemy. So in other words, you don't need a reload. And the Eystein-D has high impact reserves, glass half full, which means your bullets at the end of the magazine do more damage, which means you shouldn't reload because then your bullets will return to doing normal damage, which you don't want. So this makes sense that you would rather pair a towering barricade with your Titan rather than a rally barricade. You may have also noticed that I prefer to run the Crest of Alpha Lupi exotic on my Titan. Whenever I pop a barricade, I give my teammates health, and myself health, but my teammates are more important in this aspect. Towering barricade also denies entry into certain points until they break the shield. So towering barricade in an objective game mode is amazing. Speaking of amazing, I run a Defender Titan when I run Crest of Alpha Lupi because it adds a tactical advantage to get an extra orb of light from popping a bubble. If you didn't know, the top tree of the Defender Titan allows you to either use the Sentinel Super or the Ward of Dawn bubble. And the Ward of Dawn bubble is very useful for objective game modes, where once they plant, you can drop a bubble on top of their objective and defuse, or once you plant, you can drop a bubble to play very defensive and create orbs of light for your teammates. Pardon me getting shit on in the background. I happened to miss 2 shots of a burst and that ended in my untimely demise, but I'll aim better next time. Anyhow, all I was getting at with the bubble is that it gives your team options. If you want to camp back, play for Orbs of Light, you can do that. If you want to be a sentinel rushing people down, you can also do that. I think I got on a tangent when I was talking about the Risk Runner, but I really like the Risk Runner when I deal with Arc Souls, aka the ability that Stormcallers have when they throw a heal rift to have a little Arc Buddy floating above your shoulder, and it auto-turrets enemies. If a Stormcaller throws a heal rift, generally their team likes to sit in there. If a single bullet of the Arc Soul hits you, you proc the Risk Runner perk, which means if you shoot them, it chains lightning and renders their overshield healing rift strategy pretty much useless. And that's pretty much the bane of my existence, so I like Risk Runner. Well, I think I've said all I needed to say on this video. To recap, the high impact pulses aren't necessarily better than anything, but they're different, and different is fun. They can be better in the right hands, in the right situations, in the right team compositions, but a lot of times the stars just don't align like that, so use these pulses if you find them fun, if you find them intriguing, and definitely try out Risk Runner. I totally, I completely overlooked Risk Runner at first until a subscriber said, oh, try Risk Runner, and I was thinking, well, it's an easy counter, all the enemy has to do is just not use arc damage. But little did I know, it was the ultimate counter to Arc Souls. And Pulse Grenades, can't forget Pulse Grenades. I guess somebody thought it was a good idea to add Martyrdom to Destiny 2, but when I kill people, Pulse Grenades, they shit out Pulse Grenades. There's no better way to say it. And while I'm happy that they're wasting their utility, they're wasting their grenade that they can't use next round by just spamming it, it still annoys me that this is a habit lingering from Destiny 1 that players just do. While I may be guilty of that myself, I'm going to get off this tangent and say that if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. I don't really know to call this a review. It's more just an overview, kind of looking into a weapon to see if it's even usable in the first place. What would I call that? I guess I'll just call it an impression. So let me know in the comments what weapon, exotic, armor piece, subclass, playstyle, ability, whatever you want me to get an impression of so I can do another video.